Hey guys, Recruiter here, and in this video, I want to be able to make a raw video and kind of share with you some of the key takeaways and principles I've learned from basically catapulting my income from making $30K a year from my first recruiting job to now over the past decade, billing over almost $5 million in placements on my own desk. This is completely excluding everything my agency has done. This is all just me running a full desk for the past 10 years in the tech IT market predominantly. And it's crazy because didn't even know that recruitment was an industry, didn't even know recruiter was a job. I kind of fell into it, which some of you might have done, learned the ropes from the first job that I had in New York City at an award-winning staffing firm. And then basically a year later, I decided to kind of call it quits and take a bet on myself one more time and see if I can make this whole recruiting thing work. And the crazy thing is the first 5-6 years, I've been completely solo, just by myself. And so if you're thinking like, oh my God, is recruitment one of those things where I need a huge team? No, you don't. Do I need to spend a ton of money on complicated infrastructure and technology? No, you don't. I don't know if you know my story, but please make sure you go back and check it out in previous videos. I started with no money. I had to borrow my fiance's credit card, and I was able to build a desk, essentially starting scratch, building something from absolutely nothing, from just hard work, just relentless belief that I can make it and I can do it for myself, and just not looking in the rearview mirror and just giving it my all. And so I've learned a lot over the past 10 years. I'm still a recruiter, but I'm now focused more on growing and scaling my agency, as well as now helping others do the same thing on the side, which is extremely fulfilling, especially when I see people who are going faster and on the track record of doing things better and bigger than what I've done, which makes me feel absolutely fantastic. But in this video, I kind of want to share with you some of the things that resonated with me in hopes that it can help you wherever you are on the journey of entrepreneurism, or maybe you have a job, you're starting a side hustle, or maybe you're coming to recruiting and looking at this for the first time, or you just completely pivoted, or maybe you've been recruiting for 20-30 years, right? And I think the biggest thing before sharing any of it is that, hey, if it can happen with me, I'm just one guy who refused to give up, did my best, then there's no reason why it can't happen for you as well. And so if you guys are watching there and you have even a $5 or $100, $500 in your bank account, you are still way ahead of me. I had absolutely nothing. In fact, it was negative. And so if I can make it work with LinkedIn Lite, Google Excel, Google Sheets, and a couple important principles that I've learned along the way, then that's the reason why I want to make this video for you. So the first principle that I want to talk about is just embracing failure. So I've learned a really cool quote a couple weeks ago.
Are you struggling with getting responses from clients? Are you an established recruiter who is struggling to break 6 figures and beyond? Are you looking to start recruiting part-time and you don't know how? Do you feel burned out and stuck spending hours and hours each day in manual tasks like sourcing and outreaching, and feeling like you have no time to actually run and grow your business? I am absolutely happy to announce that we have launched our own recruitment, educational, and coaching program to help you on your journey. We made sure that everything I've learned in the past 10 years, the tips, the strategies that really helped me build multiple 7 figures of placements on my own desk with some of the best companies in the world, will be included in there. We'll also be including things like how you can build an acquisition system that brings in clients every month to your agency hands-free, how you can maximize the probability of a positive close during negotiations, how you can automate and outsource your day-to-day operations so that you don't have to spend hours per day researching or sourcing, how you can figure out the new and modern way to scale your agency that minimizes risk and maximize your upside potential. And we've also included much more. The best thing about this is not only will you be getting amazing content, but we will also handhold you and be with you every step of the way to make sure that you are held accountable and you crush your goals. We'll also share with you our own tech stack, tools and plugins we actually use, plus everything else we know about automation and AI to help you save time, work smarter, and not be a slave to your business. The exciting news is that we've actually rolled this out to a select few people earlier this year, and I'm excited to see them well on the way to multiple 6 figures, with some breaking $30,000 to $50,000 per month already. So if you're interested to be a successful recruiter that can dominate in any market conditions, make sure you click on the link below to chat with another member of our team, and we're happy to chat with you to see if we can help you out. Make sure you jump on this really quickly. See you on the other side.
The first principle that I want to talk about is just embracing embracing failure. So I've learned a really cool quote a couple weeks ago that says, when it comes to working for yourself, whether full-time or on the side, failure is the job. Winning is just the cherry on top. And I resonate with this so much because every day it wasn't as clear as this, but like this is basically how I operate, how my brain works. So if I want to start a new project, if I want to do something different, I just go out there and do tremendous action, and I learn from failure. You learn from data, which teaches you where you're going wrong, which teaches you how to improve, how to pivot, and then how to try again, but doing it better and being smarter. And by the iterative process, you just get better and better and better and better. And then when I heard this quote, I'm like, wow, that's actually true. Like this is actually what I do in a very concise, clear quote. So failure, guys, is the job. You cannot be afraid of failure. That is the only way for you to learn and get better and be smarter. If you're afraid of cold calls, do it. The first couple times you will be horrible, but I promise you will get better. If you're afraid of doing video messages or voice notes or sending out emails, you gotta do it. There's no excuse not to do it. You will get better. You will, of course, absolutely be horrible in the beginning, but you will get better over and over and over again. And if you're able to achieve failure consistently and you're able to learn from that process, it's not if, it's when you're gonna start winning or start getting your wins, right? But wins only happen if you go out there and you try new things. You're not afraid to try and falling on your knees to stand back up and do it over and over and over again. So with me, I absolutely crave and desire failure. I just go out there. I'm not afraid of no's. In fact, I try to go out there and try to get as many no's per day as I could. If I was cold calling, I wanted to get at least 30 no's. If I was cold emailing per week, I wanted to get at least 30 to 50 no's per week, right? Just to give you a hypothetical answer. Because the more no's that you get, it's just never personal. It just means not right now, and you can track them. You can always follow up with them in the future. The fact that you've gotten another human being to literally say or spend 5 seconds responding back to your message or email saying no, I think that's awesome. That's better than just ghosting or completely having people ignore you, right? That's a failure. Learn why they said no. Learn like what no can mean in terms of context, which usually means just not the best timing, or maybe they have another vendor they just signed up and they kind of want to see them through, and you just got to follow up with them. You just got to track them, and you just got to make sure that you remain top of mind into the future. So don't go out there and chasing wins and be afraid of failure. Go out there intentionally to seek failure, like feel that pain and discomfort and try to embrace it literally every single day. That's part of the game. It's not recruitment, it's business, it's work. Try to seek it and desire and crave it. And then once you get it, try to seek it as much as you can, like in a day time frame, in a week time frame, in a month time frame, because the more no's you get, the faster the chance you'll get a yes. And if you get a yes, that's a life changer, and now you've completed in your brain A to Z. You're like, wow, this is real. I've literally created something from nothing, from no client to now a client. I can get clients now. You have validation. Boom, you can hit the ground running, double the intensity and scale, and just go as far as you want now that you see the real results. But results only happen from a consistent work ethic, but not just working, but it's also like getting that results, getting that initial failure, and seeing and think of it as a good thing and not so much as a negative thing. The second principle that I hope can help is act as if like I'm always broke, right? What I mean by that is that from day one, when starting anything, whether it's a side hustle or a business, I remember the feeling. You're like super excited, you're learning new skills, and you just want to go at it, right? You have nothing to lose, you have no money, your back is against the wall. It's that feeling of that significant sense of urgency that you really want to duplicate every single day for as long as you can. Right? It's like, I have nothing to lose. I'm going to take my shot. I'm going to not take no for an answer. You're assertive. You're moving very fast. You're super efficient, super optimized, super focused. You're all in. Like, it's that feeling you want to be able to achieve and try to attain every single day. In recruitment, working for yourself, especially on the external agency side, it's sales. You have to start a brand new month. You have to start a brand new week, a brand new day from zero. And for you to go out there and give it your all, you have to give it your all. You can't show up hungover. You can't show up like, oh, I'm just going to do this half-assed. Like, you have to give each day 200% as if you're starting completely from scratch from day one, right? Everything has a honeymoon phase. You have a relationship, it has a honeymoon phase. It's exciting. And then things can die down. That's where a relationship takes work to strengthen and improve over time. Same thing with the job, same thing with business. You're going to start a business and you're going to feel absolutely amazing, right? You're going to go through the honeymoon phase, but then you're going to realize, wow, once the actual work work, and then you realize you have to source every day, you have to reach out every day, and it doesn't become exciting anymore. That's where a lot of people just fall off and they just try to chase that high. But you can't really achieve success just chasing highs. You have to chase that high, but do your best to recreate it every single day, but keep your head down and stay focused and be consistent. Even if you are doing like your dream business or job, what I've learned is that it's never going to feel amazing every single day. It's going to feel like a job for 99.9% of the time. Aside from you getting the deals and wins where it feels amazing, outside of that, it's going to feel like, oh my God, it's a job. I have to make myself do it. And the best way to kind of push through is to just recreate that feeling of when you first started, right? And remembering that feeling while you have no money, your back's against the wall, you have to make it happen. You just have to push forward, right? And so I tried my best to literally follow that feeling and have that feeling every day. And that's why the first couple of years I was all in. I worked ridiculous hours. I worked 7 days a week. I've worked long hours because I loved it. I was also admittedly going through the honeymoon phase, but I also realized like, hey, if I want to get this done and make things happen, I have to give it my all and just act with a tremendous sense of urgency, as the same as when I first started. So always act as if you're broke or your back's against the wall, and never let go of that sense of urgency. And it's still something I take super seriously right now. Like if I hear from a client, I want to get back to them as soon as possible. If I want to schedule an interview, I'd rather schedule an interview today than tomorrow or 3 days from now. Condense, accelerate, move fast, and be extremely hungry, and never ever take no for an answer, and always fight as if you're starting from day one. Recruiting is one of those beautiful things where if you had all the money in the world and you were a kind of external full desk recruiter, there's honestly no reason why for you to be able to spend more than several $100s per month max. Like my whole agency, we still use Recruiter Lite. There's no reason for you to spend $700, $800, $900 a month on this super expensive recruitment premium product if you're on a budget, right? There's no reason for you to spend thousands a month on all these tools and plugins. Like keep it super simple, keep it super condensed. And this is what we teach you and help simplify when you come into the recruiter school, for instance, right? I talk to people who are spending $2,000, $4,000, $6,000 a month on tools. That's insane to me because like even on my own desk, maybe since I'm able to afford it, but there's, I would spend more, but there's no reason for me to spend more than like $1,000 a month on my own desk. The sweet spot is probably between maybe $500 to $700 max. But like back in the day, I was able to make $524,000 in my first year only on LinkedIn Lite with Google Sheets and Google Excel, which are free, right? They come with Gmail. And I did that for the next 5-6 years. And so like when I meet people who are just spending like crazy, that creates more exposure to risk, stress, and anxiety, especially when business slows down, when you're going through a slow time or a slow period or a slow month. Like you want to be able to work as hard as you can, make those deals, but really save that cash and really invest it wisely on tools that will just push your business forward. No need to overcomplicate things. No need to go crazy on an office and all these secondary things. All you need is a laptop, phone, internet connection, a handful of tools, several $100 a month, and that's it. Get to work. People keep finding ways to skip the get to work part, and you're thinking like, oh, the AI, the automation, all this technology buzzword will help me be a better recruiter or help me recruit. It won't. It should help you do recruiting better, not to help you be a better recruiter. So understand the fundamentals, A to Z, get the bare minimum, get to work, and then reinvest. And so even when I had my big days, my big months, my big week, I didn't want to just be a flash in the pan. I had no one else to show off to. I didn't want to compare myself to anyone else. I just kept my face down and just stayed work. And whatever I made, I just saved. And I only used it on things that actually mattered. And that allowed me to push through slow times, push through tough years, push through tough months, because I didn't go out there and I didn't buy materialistic things, or I didn't spend thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on things I thought I needed when I didn't. I just kept it simple. I worked really hard, and then I just invested wisely. And I don't want to be here for the next month or two. I want to build a business that lasts the next year, 3, 5, 10 years plus. And you got to be stable. And so if you're making and you're doing placements, just of course allocate some to taxes, allocate some for savings, and just be crystal clear on understanding you don't need to spend a lot. You don't need to rush to hiring and increase the overhead and expenses of your business. business, you just be smart and wise and focus on, hey, I'm doing this alone, or if I have a partner, let's get to figure out how we can get to multiple six figures consistently by myself or together. And then you can kind of institute more automation or AI or any extraneous or miscellaneous expenses that you're thinking about. But no need to spend on fancy pens and all this notepads and whatever. Just keep it simple. Read Note app or Google Sheets on your computer and just get to work. The last thing that really helped is I went all in, right? I didn't treat it as a 9-to-5 job. And when you are a solo recruiter, even though you work with clients who treat it as a 9-to-5 job, like your other clients or other hiring managers have a job and they're clock in, clock out, I kept working as long as I could. And I treated it almost as if like real estate agents would treat their job, which is all consuming 24/7, because they are the middlemen like us, but they also live off commissions like us, right? So when you don't have a salary, you just have to be hungrier. You have to have that sense of urgency to just make it happen. And if a client, for instance, wants to chat with you at 8 p.m., you take that call. You don't push it for next day or 2 days later, because you can always do that. But if you do that, there's a chance of someone like me who'd be like, you know what, I can talk to you now at 8 p.m. I'm happy. So like I was willing, and I'm grateful to have like a support system with my fiance to be in a situation where I'm able to do that. Wake up super early, work in the evenings, work in the weekend. I did whatever I had to get the job done. And when you're working for yourself, you don't really have hours. It's either like, do you have more things to do? Yes. Why aren't you doing it, right? And I think one of the toughest things about working for yourself is you will always feel like you have so many things to do. It's just never ending. And so like if I was awake outside of eating and maybe a little bit of time in the evenings where I spent time with the family, my fiance, I was just working and I was willing to do whatever I took to get that candidate, to get the client, to put it together, and then more importantly, do it over and over and over and over again. And I didn't use the hours or the weekends as an excuse to slow my business down. You want to go fast. Speed is the name of the game. And don't, shoot yourself in the foot or don't impose constraints or restrictions that will throttle your performance. Go all in. And I think if you're young or you're single and it's just you in the business, there's a time and place to go all in. Make that your number one priority in your life. You're not going to do it forever. Just embrace it. Breathe, eat, live recruitment, and just make it happen. So the reason why I did this is I had a couple entrepreneurial stints before, and I realized that starting anything takes a lot of energy and time. It's like, think of it as like pushing a boulder up a mountain. God, the beginning is the hardest, right? The boulder is big and heavy, and just to get your first couple steps in, it's grueling, right? You're pushing, you're feeling your muscles getting strained, you're getting tired, lactic acid's building in your joints. But then you realize, like, as the ball starts rolling, you start developing something called momentum. And as momentum gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it requires less of you to keep pushing that with the same intensity as if you started. So the way I see it is that if you want to start a business, you gotta have a huge spike in energy and focus and urgency, and then do your best to maintain that. And you can always like plateau and throttle down a little bit, but you gotta do whatever you can to get that ball rolling. And to do that, there's no shortcut. You gotta put in the work, put in the hours, burn the midnight fuel, embrace it, embrace the journey, because once you're able to get past it, you'll look back and be like, wow, everything I've done in the early years was absolutely worth it. And I feel thankful to my past self that my present self and the future self can live a life on my own terms, or now be able to enjoy the benefits and milestones like X amount that you made by placements, only possible by you committing and going all in the beginning. So I hope all of this helps. Embrace failure. Failure is the job. Act as if you always are broke and you have a wall behind you. Don't spend. Invest wisely. Stay lean as much as possible and go all in. Don't just treat this as a job, right? You need to outcompete everybody. There's competition everywhere. There will always be people that work harder than you, that work faster than you. The more justifications for vacations or half days or weekends, there will be a lot of people who are willing to do the same amount of work and not make the same excuses to show up. So if you want to go out there, you want to get what you're able to take by putting in that work, establish those relationships. Don't take no for an answer. Don't make excuses. And there's no reason why you cannot find success. So get that ball rolling. It requires an immense amount of energy in the beginning, but I promise you it is temporary. It is not forever, and you'll be able to get it and hit all the goals that you want to. So hope this helps. If you want more raw videos like this, please let me know. Always happy to kind of share my feelings. I wish nothing more for absolute success, and let's make 2025 an amazing year. See you next time.